next question. We're going to talk about challenging behaviors. So we're going to talk about what is challenging behaviors for you at your facility, at your daycare, and how do you deal with it? What is some of the worst barriers that you face? And let's just have a discussion about that. So we're going to once again start with Yancine, but we can jump in at any moment if we feel led to, and let's have a talk.
Yeah. Well, challenging behaviors is just what it implies. It's challenging.
Yes. Yes.
It is challenging, but we know as childcare providers, we know it's the child's way of not knowing how to communicate. It's frustration from not knowing how to get their point across. Really, I mean, and when you think about it, does adults really know still how to communicate? You know, because a lot of us, we didn't come up in daycare. We didn't, I mean, has anyone taught us how to self-regulate? You know what I mean? And so that's why I think it's so important for what we do. You know, because we're teaching them how to self-regulate. We're teaching them how to use their words to communicate, you know, instead of frustration and someone's being hit. You know what I mean? And so I think that's one of the most important jobs that we have.
I completely agree.
Okay. I'm so glad that you hinted on just the importance of it. And what we discussed when you said that we as adults have a problem with self-regulation.
Yeah.
You know, in my field of studies, when teaching teachers to become teachers, one of the biggest things that I tell them is that in our society, you would think and you would hear, and I ask this question to the teachers, I say, what do you think is the biggest burnout? What is the biggest burnout? All these different things that you've heard, what is the biggest burnout? What do you think is the biggest burnout when it comes down to not having enough teachers on staff across the board, whether it's in a childcare center, a home childcare center, or in a public school system? What is the biggest burnout? And believe it or not, most of these students would say behavior. Challenging behaviors.
Yeah.
But what does research say? Research says that it's not challenging behaviors. It's not challenging behaviors that's the biggest burnout. It's the managing of challenged behaviors. We have to understand, when you go back to self-regulation, understand that it is shown in research that it is the lack of emotional growth and development in the individual that is causing burnout. Think about it like this. You have two teachers in the classroom, and there's a child getting ready to throw a chair. This child has thrown the third chair this week. And one teacher is trying to teach math, trying to teach reading, you know, and now this child is keep throwing this chair. But she's redirected the child. She's had cue cards for the child to let the child know by face how they feel to keep them from throwing that chair. Okay, she's putting things in different places for the child, where the child can go and do breathing exercises to keep from throwing that chair. But she's fed up, right? Both teachers see this behavior. But when we think about challenging behaviors from one teacher might not be the same as another one. So that chair being thrown, you have this teacher over here who says, you know what, Johnny, you threw the chair. What made you do that? I need you to pick it up and bring it over here. And then the next teacher is over here like, oh, what did he do the chair? If he threw the chair one more time, y'all need to come get him.
Yes, right.
Okay. So one teacher, emotional growth is not where it needs to be, right? And the struggle is there, and you see this, and that's what caused the burnout. Yep. That lack of emotional growth that we need. Yes. You know, that self-regulation that we need as adults. Right. Because now the behavior is in front of us, and if you have that, then that behavior is not going to bother you as much as it will another person.
I completely agree.
You know? So it's not that you have to deal with abuse or deal with behavior, but the bottom line is, if we can self-regulate and get that management in us that can help us and learn those different things that can help us, and also catch different things. One thing that I tell my students all the time is that your job as a teacher, we know you're not the nurse. We know you're not the parent. We know you're not the psychologist. Even though when you go to work, you feel that way.
You are that.
You feel that way.
You are that.
Yes, we know that. But we know you're not that. So now you can't put that burden on you. Right. So I would tell my students, take that burden off of you right now.
That's good.
As you continue in this program, take that burden off of you. I need for you to know that you're three things. You are an observer. You're a documenter. And you are a referrer. Your job as a teacher is to observe, document, and refer.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
And when you can do that and accept that, then you take that burden off of you, and you won't get that burden out.
Yep.
And those challenging behaviors that's considered to be challenging to other people won't be as challenging to you.
I love that.
good.
I love
That's
that. Okay. Anything, Mr. Melvin?
Well, these ladies have said it all. But I will touch on, I love what you said, because we do have a generation of people that were not taught social or emotional regulation, trying to deal with that now.
Right.
So I think that is a big part of the behavioral issues that we're experiencing now. Absolutely.
I completely, and I want to piggyback off, not to skip you, Miss Alicia. I want to piggyback off of what Miss Sarah was saying about teacher burnout. It starts also in our personal lives too.
Oh, yeah.
Because a lot of times, even though we don't intentionally do this, but we bring our personal problems to work. So in a lot of situations, mom is mom, but mom is bringing baby with her to daycare. So that is almost 24/7, 24 hours not having a moment to yourself, not having anything to yourself. And that is enough to make anybody go cuckoo. Let's be transparent. So we have all these issues going on, bills, relationship, being a mom, family, or if you in most older teachers, they're still taking care of their mom and dad because their mom and dad are getting older. Those are circumstances that we have to compile on top of Johnny just threw that chair. You know, and Johnny throwing that chair just made us snap because that was our last straw. You know, so I will say this, teacher burnout, we have to learn to do self-care. We are not educating ourselves enough about self-care. If we see and know that this is our situation where we have multiple children day in and day out, there has to be at some point, we have to have a support system. We have to communicate because, you know, sometimes we see a teacher, they say good morning, they go in their classroom and they work. And we don't know what's going on in their mental behind the scenes.
Until Johnny throws that chair.
Until Johnny throws that chair. And now everything is up and out. Or we're having a whole panic attack. You know? Because honestly, I was that teacher years ago when I first started. They had to call the ambulance. Whole panic attack. I'm laid stretched out in the middle of the floor because I'm helping little Johnny in the classroom, but I'm thinking about bills. Oh shoot! I forgot to pay this bill. They're gonna probably come cut it off while I'm at work. When me and my kids get home, we're not gonna have power, and it just keeps going, and it keeps going, and we're just making the situation worse mentally. So
how effective can you be for your students? When that is going on.
What is our self-care as teachers? What day of the week are we going out? Is it okay? I know we don't get paid a lot of money, but are we putting some money into the side to get our little lashes done, our nails done, our haircuts? Are we doing those things that make us feel good and make us feel better? Because that's a part of self-care and it prevents burnout as well.
Absolutely.
Everything everyone has said has been awesome in it, and I've taken a lot of good notes from you.
Like you take it off.
There is the truth.
Take it off. But as far as challenges, so one of the things that we do and I pass it on to my teachers, is that we effectively communicate with the kids on their level. We can't treat a child as an adult and put an expectation on a child.
I love it.
That's not already in them. So we have to teach them that expectation. We have to make sure that kids understand what the words are or what they're seeing when we give them cue cards showing a happy face. Are you sad? They see it, but they don't emotionally take it in and feel it. So they just see this here and it doesn't resonate with them. And then we teach them how to communicate with their words as to say what they're feeling. If they're saying their stomach hurts, I need to know if it's a cramp or ache or what. A tummy ache didn't tell me what I need to be working on. You know, or ask them when was the last time you had a bowel. You know, that doesn't give us anything. So we teach them, but we do it in a gentle way at their level. And then at that time, when you do that, it makes that child's stress levels go down. How we respond to them when they're having those challenging moments. I tell my kids all the time, you're entitled to have a bad day.
Yeah.
You're entitled to not want to be in here and sit down and color in the line. So if you want to scribble all over the paper, guess what? It's okay. Because I know you can do this. And it's just how you say it, and it gives them that encouragement. And that very child who you do that to, and you don't raise your voice, your tone's always calm, it brings them down. It's just like if we go somewhere and they don't get our order right. And we come walking back in there and we just sit the bag on the table and we, you know, that rep that took care of us, now you've taken her up because now she's in defense mode. Right. She feel like we getting ready to clown in here, but if you come in and you say it in a polite way or whatever, she's going to satisfy your need. Yeah. So everybody responds and we feel off of each other's energy. Yeah, exactly. We feed off of each other's energy and how we respond and go forward in our actions. And so when we do that, and that child is having that challenging moment, and he's doing that or she's doing that in front of another classmate, everybody's watching how Miss Lisa's going to go over here and take care of Janelle because she just slammed the chair or she threw it down or she tore a page out of the book. You know, I put my things, and one of my things I always tell my parents, depending on the age of the child and their intellectual level, I put the situation back on them. So how would you feel if I tore your book? They don't want their book tore. How would you feel if I went in your book bag and took your snack out? And they look at me and they have that aha moment and they're like, I don't want that. So then guess what? We're not going to do that anymore because you don't want me to do that to you.
Absolutely.
You'll be mad if I went in your book bag and didn't ask you, could I get your Legos out of there? You know, and then they start feeling it. They feel it. And then it's teaching them about consequences at the same time. And that's my thing at the center. There's consequences. We do good and bad. You get to choose. But they don't understand that until they know how to deal with their emotions. And you explain it to them. So I believe in the cards that have the faces on it, but I need them to understand what that card means. Absolutely. In order to go through, because we're raising young people that are going to be adults one day.
Absolutely.
And it stops, we break the cycle.
And
it goes into their household. If they didn't know how to react, mom and dad, who may always went on 10, they start to calm down because their child's not acting out. And it's like we're the village. We're part of the village. We're going back into the house without physically being there.
Right.
I love this.
Can I just piggyback off of like what you said about the self-care? I even think this is even kind of like a
therapy.
This is kind of like, you know, like self-care because getting in a room with like-minded people.
Yes.
Just having a conversation, even if it's just a vent.
Right.
We need that because our husbands might not understand. We want to tell him about Johnny. His mind on, he got to go to work in the morning. You know what I mean? Like, but getting in a room talking. Getting in a room with like-minded people and having a conversation like this. This is part of our self-care. I know it is for me.
Absolutely. It is. It's important, and even just with having that discussion with your teachers, you know, with other educators. One thing about it is that in society, you know, a lot of time people will get burnt out if they feel like things are in denial with others. I'm not seeing what I'm going through. They don't see the challenges.
Especially
they think like because I'm a teacher.
12 hours a day.
We do
outside.
We definitely see. It's definitely there. How it's managed and how you take care of yourself and how you address it.
Right. Absolutely. Because a lot of childcare providers that are inexperienced, because let's be transparent again. When we need a body in the room, when we need a teacher in the room, we will go ahead and hire somebody and let them go ahead and get that little 12 hours of DHR. But how many of us at this table know that 12 training hours of DHR don't amount to what you need to get started.
Yeah.
You know, it's something to start with, but you need so much more than that. But we go with the regulations and we go with the flow.
Right.
But even when they walk through the door, that 12 hours does not explain to them that this child is not going to come in knowing the things that you expect them to know. Why do we expect children that are inexperienced, that's never had any type of education, because these kids are coming as babies and they're growing up in our centers and they're growing up in our homes? Why do we expect them to automatically come in knowing how to behave?
Right.
That is a job, that is an objective that our responsibility is not just to teach alphabets, numbers, shapes, and colors. Our job is to teach them how to regulate. Yes, our job is to teach them those social skills. So we can't be mad if we turn away for a second and Johnny just slapped Sarah. Okay, he wanted to see what was going to happen next. And how we react next shows him what his consequences are, shows him what he's supposed to do. We're not supposed to do that. We don't do that to our friends. Okay, so we're going to wrap it up there. This was an amazing talk. I really appreciate all of our child care providers and educators, teachers that are here at the table with us today. And we thank you for coming, and we look forward to doing a session like this very soon.
Thank you for having me.
No problem.
Thank you.